A small blue chair beneath a tree, a rope tied way up high. Her feet still on the ground, baby. Tell me how they walked on by. The spot was clear the day before, then how'd she get that way? They wrote it up and closed the door. No foul play. He was 21 and brilliant, first week on the campus ground. A faculty member found him before the sun came down. They held their press conference, said everything's okay. Gave his mama 3 words that day: no foul play. No foul play. No foul play. How many times we gotta hear it? No foul play. No foul play. Can anybody feel this? 70 names, 70 trees, 70 families screaming, and all they ever give us is no foul play. She left the Congo searching for something safe and new. 16 years of living, still so much left to do. 11 days of family on their knees and praying. Found her on church property, and all they said was no foul play. Billy sang it first in sorrow, Nina sang it burning bright. Strange and bitter fruit, they called it strange and bitter still tonight. From Emmett Till to right now, Lord, the river never dried. 70 families still waiting on the reason why. No foul play. No foul play. How many times we gotta hear it? No foul play. No foul play. Can anybody feel the 70 names, 70 trees, 70 families screaming, and all they ever give us is no foul play? Say their names, Juliana. Say their names, Trey. Say their names, Javion. Say their names, Trevante. We see you, we won't forget. We are not walking away. Not this time, not this time. No foul play. No foul play. We don't believe you anymore. No foul play. We're knocking on every door. 70 names and counting, 70 families waiting. Same tree, same silence. We will not let you walk away. They say no foul play. We say no foul play. We say we remember. They said no. They said no. No, no foul play. We say we won't forget. We won't forget. We won't forget. We won't forget. No foul play.
Live on the air, Trial Junkies United presents Justice After Dark with your host, Z.
Thank you, Doc. Hey, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? Sleuthy was here first tonight. We have all of our awesome mods. We have Semi and Fala and Irish and Katrina. Mark's Human who's joined us. Glad to have you. And there's our therapist we know, and Farquaad is here. Awesome. We got a great group. And this went deep, you guys. I didn't plan on this going so deep tonight, but it did. But before we get there, I want to put out congratulations to Crime Weekly, Stephanie Harlow, and Derek Levasseur for winning the Creator Award for the year at CrimeCon again.
Awesome.
It is so cool. Totally love Crime Weekly. Have been a fan of Stephanie's forever. Her research is just phenomenal, and love Derek too. So want to give them a shout out. Also, I forgot to get a picture put up, but please go over and visit Lorden Arts. John has put out he's going through a health crisis. He's had surgery for a lump on his neck, and he was hoping to get back to making videos, but he's going to have to take another month and do a little more work on himself to make sure everything's cleared up. So we want to give John some love, because as a new creator, I did reach out to him on a story, and his team took that story and did it. And he was so kind to me. I just want to make sure that we give John and his family love and prayers, because John Lorden is one of those very dear OGs in the true crime world here on YouTube. I've followed him for years. So let's give John some love. Make sure you go check out his videos, okay? Lorden Arts, and he has several different things that he does, mysterious, missing people. He's really a class act. So please go check it out. He talks about what he's gone through and everything. But let's go ahead and jump in tonight, because this one's going to go a little deep. It's going to get y'all thinking, because let's start out with our greetings to our trial junkies, our truth seekers, and our justice warriors. I'm Z, your storyteller, in the wilderness of injustice, with my ride or die doc, riding shotgun, as we navigate the darkness where the predators hunt and the system fails. We're ready to shine a light on the forgotten stories society prefers to leave buried. So buckle up. The path ahead's going to get really bumpy tonight, but we're going to lead you through another section of the nightmare that we call the justice system. Doc, are you ready to ride for this one?
I think so.
I know. Doc's had to deal with some heavy stuff with this story too. And I have to be honest with you tonight. When I first started working on this episode, I didn't think I would see myself going so deep, reviewing case after case. I was planning on doing one story about this beautiful 16-year-old girl, Juliana Nzita, who had been missing for about 10 to 11 days and then was discovered deceased. She didn't get a lot of publicity. It was in North Carolina. And this is a young girl that actually came over to this United States from the Congo. She had survived a country that has terrible war, crimes against women and girls. And it's a terrible place with all the violence for them. And so here she came to America. It was supposed to be great. She'd been here for a few years. And then she was found hanging from a tree on church property. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll put out we'll put out a trigger warning. I usually put one up, but I forgot to. There's not going to be any pictures, so that's good. But just in case, if anyone needs to take a little step back for their mental health, I get it. But this is important. This story is very important, and that's why we're doing it. And of course, the authorities said no foul play. And I've got questions. You know me. I've always got questions. So we're going to start with Juliana Nzita, 16 years old. Like I said, she came from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. She was building a life here, navigating a new country, a new school, a new city where when she vanished. Now, they did say that she had been bullied, but nobody thought she was in bad, feelings, that she was a happy child, smiled a lot, was sweet. But April 28th of 2026, her family reported her missing. We're going to get there, Mark. hang on, darling. So for 10 days, the community searched, right? But this wasn't really as public, of course, as if she was white and from the suburbs. Let's just be honest here. She's a young Black girl. And there were tips coming in from social media, and people who didn't know her helped look, because in the communities, there's always some that are willing to do this. But then on Friday, May 8th, a gentleman named Kenneth, he goes by Mustafa Tolbert. He's a community volunteer, and he volunteers for an organization that works with brothers, brothers helping brothers. I forgot what the actual name was. I thought I had written it down, but I didn't. But as he was walking his dog, man, I'm going to take a drink and take a second. If you want to jump in and say hi, Doc, go right ahead.
Hi, Doc.
I can always count on you, love.
Well, of course you can.
I just want to do this story justice. So
Yep.
I'm ahead of myself.
That's all right. You went down a huge rabbit hole, and this is going to take a little bit to unpack. So
yeah. So Mufasa has a dog named Cosmo, and he's his his dog for stress. He's a oh man, my brain just shut down. What is it you call a service animal?
Therapy dog.
Yeah.
Stress therapy
service
dog.
animal.
Yeah, service animal.
Yeah, he's a service animal.
Yeah.
So
between
Kenneth
the two of us, we actually came up with a good answer.
Some days it takes both of us, doesn't it, dear?
Yeah.
But so he's a service animal, and Mark was on his, or Mustafa was on, or Kenneth, let's call him Kenneth. Kenneth was on his way. He had to file some paperwork, but Cosmos kind of drug him onto the property near this church, and it's called the United House of Prayer for All People at 4100 West Sugar Creek Road. Now, when he got there with Cosmo, he found a disturbing scene. And it was a young lady, and she was hanging from a tree, and there was a small blue chair nearby. And Kenneth was smart enough. He actually took some video and pictures. And Doc and I have seen them, or the picture, not the video. Mm-hmm. Hey, patriotism, thanks for coming, darling. So he alerted some church members because there were some church members close by. And then he called 911. Now, this blue chair that's near Juliana has the shortest legs I've ever seen on a chair, didn't it, Doc?
Yes, it was.
It's just like this really short chair.
It was. It was like a chair, a little chair for like a little kid's tea set. The table and chairs type deal. Yeah.
And it was blue, and I kind of have a feeling it was like that outdoor furniture you see like at Walmart, those, but it had really short legs. But the rope was tied very high in the tree. But there was no way. Now, they did block out Juliana, thank goodness. But you can still see, the form of where she was standing. Her feet are pretty much on the ground. Think about that. And the rope is too high. Even if someone stood on the chair, I don't think you could have got the rope up into the tree. And the chair actually was not like knocked over, not like you kicked it away or something.
No.
It was just sitting behind her. So that gives me questions.
Somebody would have, you'd have to be tall enough to actually get that rope up into the tree.
Right. Yeah, maybe you could use it as a stool, but it had arms. It looks like a chair. It doesn't look like a stool. But yes, it's, you could have stood on it, but you still wouldn't have, and if you
it wouldn't have been tall enough to get you up to not in the tree.
No. And if you had jumped from it and you still landed on your feet, something doesn't add up. Now, when Kenneth took this video, right, some of the church members had come up there. And in the footage, you could hear one of the church members say, "We were here yesterday and didn't see anything." Now, this was 10 days after this girl had gone missing. She had been missing for 10 days, and nobody acts like they know where she was. And yet they're to believe that she did this and nobody found her for 10 days because she'd been missing for a full 10 days. Now, according to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, they report obtained by the North Carolina Beat, Nzita was pronounced deceased at the scene at 12:40 p.m. on May 8th. And then her death was officially ruled a self-deletion immediately.
No autopsy, nothing.
Yeah, I think they eventually did one, but they called it right away. And then they also said that on her phone, supposedly, there was an inquiry to ChatGPT about how to delete yourself with a rope. So they said, see, that's what happened. But that doesn't explain how the rope was so tall or so high up that she couldn't have reached that. And also that chair would have been no use. And her feet were still on the ground.
And she had no kind of wounds or bruises on her from, like,
no,
she was scurrying up the tree, and
yeah, no scratches. So there's just a lot of questions. Now, I'm not saying that she couldn't have done something. I'm not saying she didn't do something. There are just questions. Why were they so quick to put this, dot the T's and cross the I's and not even really contact her parents right away? They didn't even do that. So what mechanism of death supports that they ruled this a self-deletion immediately? Because there are questions like, why wasn't the chair fingerprinted? There are a lot of things that should have been taken into account. Now, Juliana's family, they weren't immediately contacted. The United House of Prayer for All People, that organization does own the land where she was found. They've not made a statement. They've not even sent out condolences to the family, not even a single word. So that's kind of odd. Now, nowhere can I find any evidence that she was a member of that church, though. So there's no evidence there. People in the community, there are some that are making comments about the church being a little odd. Instead of calling the leader of the church a bishop, they call him daddy or sweet daddy, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
So there's some questions, what happened to this young girl? Now, yes, she was being bullied. She had come over from the Congo, one of the most dangerous places for women and girls. But she'd survived that. So I just have questions about what happened. But then I started seeing other stories. And first, I'm going to give you some numbers. So we're going to back up just a second here, because this might change how you hear some of the things we're going to talk about. They said of all documented deaths by rope, 78.6% are male, but only 21.4% are female. And then when you add race, the rate of this specific method of death among Black women or girls is the lowest of any racial group measured, 2.0 per 100,000, compared to 4.6 for white women and 3.1 for Hispanic people. So I'm not saying statistics are determining what happened to Juliana. No. I'm just saying I have questions because a 16-year-old Black girl dying this way is statistically one of the least likely scenarios across every data point. And that doesn't make it impossible, but it makes one questions some of the things. Why did the investigation close this case? Why did those investigators just immediately close it and not do anything? Yes, Emmy, there are a lot of culty aspects of this organization. I do know they do supposedly feed a lot of people, so they have some sort of organization where they feed homeless people, I think, or just feed people that need help. But there are some also strange benefits and some things that I saw on Reddit that I won't go into, but they make you question, what's going on there. But one thing I want you to remember, there was a song out and Billie Holiday sang it first. Nina Simone sang it. You might have heard her version of it. It's talking about strange fruit hanging from popular trees. And this song wasn't poetry. It was a testimony. It was the documentation of Black people being lynched. It was a warning. So I want you to think about that, because this is where we started diving in. The Equal Justice Initiative has documented nearly 6,500 racial terror lynchings of Black people in America between 1865 and 1950. More than 4,400 in 12 southern states between 1877 and 1950 alone. Mississippi accounts for more than 650, the highest of any state in the country. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Nina Simone, and I love Billie Holiday too. Billie Holiday's version is more mournful, and Nina's is more rage of the same version of the song.
Hey, Billie.
Hey, Billie. Good to see you, darling. But these lynchings, they weren't crimes of what we might call passion. These were actually public events, people. They were attended by the public. They were photographed, largely tolerated by state officials, federal officials, and institutions that chose to look away. This is the world that shaped the fear still living in Black families today. And there were things on different Reddits and different Facebooks where I saw people say, no Black person is going to delete themselves in this way because of the history. I can't speak for that, but it makes you think. And this has shaped the reason why when a Black body is found hanging from a tree, entire communities refuse to accept the first answer they're giving, which is no foul play. So, according to the Crimson Report, this was a report that was done. Let's see. I think I went too far. Whoops, I'm going backwards. Yay. Okay, well, we'll get there. The Crimson Record, it calls a lynching a self-deletion, was not merely a cover-up, you guys. Hey, Christine, welcome. Over time, it became a cynical inside joke with certain communities, a way to erase evidence of violence, to maintain the illusion of law and order, and deny victims their truth and their dignity, even in death. It's not just about falsifying death records. It was an ideology act. Think about it. The word itself was weaponized to silence families. And it is still being used the same way today. Hey, Mustang, good to see you. EJI director Brian Stevenson said it plainly. He said, our collective failure to acknowledge this history has created a contemporary political culture that doesn't adequately value the victimization of people of color today. And that's not an accusation, you guys. That's a diagnosis of what's going on. Now, as I was looking into Juliana's case, I remembered in 2025, there was a case in Mississippi. So I looked it up. And this was Trey Reed. And it was September 15th in Cleveland, Mississippi, Delta State University. He was 21 years old. He was found hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts on campus. The state medical examiner issued findings consistent with self-deletion ruling. Trey's family did not accept that answer. I don't blame them. And here's why. They were lied to from the start. The family was initially told that Trey was found deceased in his dorm room, in his bed. This is what the authorities told. His grandfather confirmed that the officer who came to their door didn't say possible self-deletion. He said it flatly before any investigation was complete. The people who knew Trey described him as an upbeat and friendly, no signs of depression. That Sunday night, he had just finished and submitted a paper right before its deadline that it had to be in for his college course. Now think about that. Who's going to go worry about getting a paper in if you're thinking of doing something to yourself?
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense at all.
That's not logical.
No.
Not that I'm saying people that take that extreme step are logical, but there is some reason here. You're not going to worry about a paper being put in. And he left his dorm to walk to his girlfriend's in another dorm between 9 and 10 p.m. His roommate said he was wearing jogging pants, a hoodie, a do-rag, and Crocs. And don't be talking against Crocs. I love my Crocs, okay? Just saying. So his roommate said he did not leave wearing a belt. That's important. He was seen on camera later pacing in front of a building. And that was one thing I think the authorities tried to say, oh, see, he was all upset. But what they discovered is he got a phone call. That's why he was pacing back and forth. But nobody seems to know who called him. Now, isn't that interesting? And that was the last confirmed contact anyone had with Trey Reed that night. He was found the next morning partially hanging from a belt 3 times his size. 3 times his size. Now remember, I told you he didn't leave wearing a belt. Now there's a belt that's 3 times what he would wear because he was a thin guy. There are no bruises, no ligature marks consistent with hours of hanging. The medical examiner could not determine the time of death. The family's attorney concluded that Trey was manually choked elsewhere and that his body was placed in that tree. Now, the location matters. And here's where we're going to get to this pickleball court. Because this was known on campus as the one area without cameras. And it's the same area where, according to the family, groups of white male students regularly gathered at night, days before his death. Trey had gotten into a conflict online with some white males from the campus because they were attacking a young black woman online, and he came to her defense. Okay. The family says they have screenshots. Now they asked for an independent autopsy, and it was paid for by the Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights campaign conducted by Nebraska pathologist Dr. Matthias Oki. And he found preliminary findings inconsistent with the official ruling. Now, attorney Ben Crump demanded that the family be allowed to view campus surveillance footage. As of December 2025, it's never been made public. We don't know what the footage looks like. The full independent autopsy also has been remained unreleased. Think about that. They still haven't even released the independent autopsy. 2 more details that cannot be explained. Trey's cell phone was not returned to his family, but his mother had a GPS tracker on it, and she saw it moving from location to location across the county. Now, if the phone was in evidence, why was it moving? If it wasn't in evidence, who had his phone? Now, they're saying Trey supposedly found a belt to do this to himself. It was 3 sizes too big, so it wasn't his. He left wearing sweatpants with a drawstring, no belt. The buckle on the belt was broken. This is important because the family was told that Trey sent a text reading, "The buckle broke." But this printout they showed them didn't have a timestamp or a date. And the belt buckle that was never found at the scene of Trey's death. The police have never located it. There was also a second set of DNA found on the belt that Trey Reed was hung with. And this person's been picked up by the police for questioning, but no arrest has ever been made. And the family's attorney said it plainly. Are we supposed to believe that he hung himself, threw away the buckle, and then sent a text?
In that order.
Yeah. In that order. And history shows that lynch mobs love to keep souvenirs. I mean, that just, yeah. You're right, Billy. It's shady and suspicious. Now, I know most of you have all heard of, I don't know, hit the wrong button again. Thank you. There we go. Sorry, guys. You've all heard of Emmett Till. And this university that Trey went to sits approximately 50 miles from where Emmett Till's body was pulled from the Tallahatchie River in 1955. Till was 14 years old when he was abducted and deleted and mutilated, and the men who did it were acquitted by an all-white jury in 67 minutes. History didn't end. It's just stopped being called what it is. And that's something for us to think about. Now, there's a Mississippi-based civil rights organization, JULIAN, and they spent years building a database. And the result is this report titled the Crimson Report, or the Crimson Record. It's over 222 pages. JULIAN defends a modern-day lynching and MDL. And on that map that we had on our thumbnail, and we'll show in a little bit, MDL stands for modern-day lynching, as a discriminatory killing under the pretext of administering justice committed by more than one person. So they're targeting an individual because of race, it could be gender identity, or other bias with the intent of causing community terror. It is different from a hate crime, which typically involves a single perpetrator. And MDL is organized terror. It's designed to send a message to an entire community. On their maps, the red dots confirm MDLs. The blue dots mark notable hate crimes and suspicious deaths. And the cases that don't meet every element of the definition but are deeply troubling and under investigation, some of them. Now, this report was from the 2000s to 2025. So Juliana's case does not show up on this. Trey's would. But more than 70 confirmed MDLs, modern lynchings, across 7 southern states between 2000 and 2025. Think about that. 70 confirmed. I mean, I don't know about you, But that really stopped me when I read this in the report. The modern day lynching, 70 in that time period. The total could exceed 100. Mississippi had the most. JULIAN founder Jill Colleen Jefferson said the moment a case is ruled a self-deletion, it's no longer investigated as a potential homicide. That's very important.
Well, I'd say it is, because then nobody's going to take one look at it after that.
Yeah. Well, that's like Juliana's case. Did anyone bother to see if there were fingerprints on the chair? We'll never know because they didn't investigate it. And this is in the back, toward the back of the report. The Crimson Record identifies what goes wrong in nearly every one of these cases. Premature conclusions, no psychological autopsies, compromised crime scenes, shoddy investigations, and evasive reporting. The psychological autopsy piece matters, and that's what I'm showing you now. Julian's protocol requires reconstructing the person's emotional and social state in the days before their death and has a lot of questions. You're evaluating actual signs of thoughts of self-deletion, identifying evidence contradicting the official ruling, and examining possible coercion, threats, harassment, online conflict, their digital footprints. So in case after case tonight, that protocol was never even followed. Nobody did it. It was something they ignored. And the pattern extends well beyond those 7 states in that 25-year window. Dominique Alexander was 27, June 2020. He was found hanging from a tree in Manhattan's Fort Tehran Park, ruled self-deletion over his family's objections. Navane Parker, 22, October 5th, 2020. Barker Park, Orlando. Police denounced no foul play. Photos showed injuries to his face and knotted hands his family said were inconsistent with the self-inflicted hanging. Tremel K. Holmes, 31, May 21st, 2020, 4 days before George Floyd's murder, found hanged in Cook County Jail, Chicago. His family suspected he was killed in custody. 25, Illinois State University graduate student and aspiring doctor, reportedly missed August 25th, 2021. His mutilated body was found 10 days later floating in the Illinois River near Peru, Illinois, a sundown town. Manner of death ruled undetermined. His family continues to call for a federal investigation. Yolanda Lebrine, a Black woman found hanging from a tree in a stranger's backyard in Orlando, September 28th, 2023, ruled a self-deletion. Witnesses reportedly heard a woman scream before she was found. Her family has never stopped asking questions, and now we're asking. Dexter Wade, 37, Jackson, Mississippi, 2024. He was struck and killed by an SUV driven by an off-duty police officer while walking home, then secretly buried behind the Hinds County Detention Center without the family's knowledge. That same facility is where more than 200 bodies were later discovered in unmarked graves. 200 bodies in an unmarked field behind a jail in Mississippi. Where is the outrage? Where are the questions? The Crimson Record covers 2000 to 2025. Juliana Nzita, like I said, was 2026. She's not in the report, but she fits the pattern on every single data point. How many more get a name and never even get their name put in the report? And here's the part of tonight I did not want to have to say. Everything we've covered, the ability to demand independent investigations, challenge a coroner's ruling, hold law enforcement accountable, call in some federal civic rights units where local authorities fail. All of it depends on federal civil rights enforcement existing. The current administration has systematically dismantled that infrastructure. DEI initiatives across the federal government eliminated. Longstanding executive orders requiring affirmative action from federal contractors rescinded. The Justice Department and the EEOC have moved to end disparate impact standards, the enforcement tool that allowed the government to challenge policies that disproportionately harmed people of color, even when no one admitted intent. Under the new standard, discrimination must be proven intentionally. That is nearly impossible to do. The Civil Rights Division has moved to dismiss federal consent decrees forcing cities like Minneapolis, Louisville, and Phoenix to reform police departments cited for constitutional violations. Those oversight agreements are being dropped. FBI civil rights positions eliminated. Federal civil rights enforcement units defunded or disbanded. They also went into the museums and were getting rid of anything that pertained to slavery. They've stopped teaching about slavery, what few schools did teach it, because little white kids might get upset. Boo-hoo. It's history. A lot of this stuff has happened with Native Americans because we do MMIP stories on Thursdays. And I can tell you right now that the Native and Indigenous brothers and sisters are constantly having to battle for the rights of their loved ones when they question. We're going to be doing a story soon about how North Dakota has put in some laws to stop the families from even knowing about what's in the autopsies and not being able to see the photos. So they're doing everything they can to cripple the families from finding the truth of their loved ones.
Well, yeah, it makes a situation like something happens to one of your loved ones, and you can't prove that anything was done intentionally because they rule it as a self-deletion.
Yeah.
So where are you going to go from there? If you're trying to prove that it was done with malintent,
Well, and that's the whole thing. As long as you're not Susie Homemaker from the suburbs, they don't care. And that's the part that people are forgetting is we're all part of the human race. We're all family. I don't care what color anybody is. We all deserve justice for our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
We all deserve answers. And if people can't see that, that's on them, because one day it will be them. And that's what they don't understand. Because with all these things, all these protections they're taking away, some of them aren't just about race. They also cover sex discrimination. They cover women, gender identity, disabilities. Every one of those protections is being rolled back under the same policies. So, especially you women out there, if you think that, well, I'm not Black, so it's not going to affect me. Yeah, it's going to affect you because you're a woman. It could affect you because you have a disability. When you roll back the protections, these protections protect others because they were made to stand. And so other people got protected within these laws, but they're rolling them back. They're getting rid of them. And it's something to think about. Think about your daughters, your sons, if you are a minority. This is something families have to think about all the time. If they are minorities, they've faced it their whole lives. But now, for some white Americans, it's going to start affecting you too. Then you'll get on YouTube and do a boo-hoo video about, I didn't know it would affect me. And you know what? Some of the people are just going to laugh at you. You know, hey, it happens. Yeah. So, and that's another religious freedoms. There are going to be those that if you're not with the right religious group, they're going to target you. You know, that's why religion's not supposed to be in politics. But all of a sudden it's all up in there. Just saying. And it's something to think about, because I'll tell you right now, I do believe the Bible. I am a religious person. That doesn't make me better than anybody. That doesn't mean I know things that other people don't know. And that doesn't mean I can't let my brothers and sisters of all different races, creeds, and colors live their life, because they have the right to live their life the way they want. I have the right to live the way I want. And that's what it's all about, people. We're all still family, regardless. I don't like broccoli, and I hate Brussels sprouts. Does that make me an evil person?
Yes, no. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That man has tried to force broccoli down my throat my entire life. Well, Irish, you are exactly right. You know, when people want to start throwing the Bible around into politics, they kind of forget when they tried to make Jesus king, he walked away. Said, nope, not my thing. That's not my mission here. You know, they only read the parts they want to.
That's true.
You know, and that's the problem. But the Bible's not to be something that you beat people over the head. Sometimes I come down hard on faith. And it's because I don't like to see the abuse of faith. You know, and Irish does love her broccoli. And that's good. I will eat it. I just don't like to eat it. Well, send me one of these days if you ever want to sit and share. You and I can share. We can either do it on here, or we can just share over a cup of tea and have a chat. Whatever you wish, my love. But so I want everyone to think about that, because we're all in this together, and we need to be sticking up for each other. We're watching the machinery of impunity being rebuilt, not in 1877, not in 1955, in 2026, people. What does that say about our humanity? We're all part of the same human family, every color, every race, every background. God created all of us. The scriptures tell us God's not partial. Okay, so the people who built these systems of terror, who called a lynching a self-deletion and then moved on, they were looking at a human being and not deciding that person did not count. That is a spiritual failure as much as it is a legal one. Racism was never truly gone. You know, I'm not trying to say our brothers and sisters that are in minority groups have not faced discrimination, because they have. Racism has never totally gone away, but it's getting worse.
Yep.
It is getting worse. Fala's on non-broccoli team.
Goodness.
But, you know, until the last couple of years, people have hidden it better, have hidden their racism. Now they just feel like they can go out there and be as ugly as they want to be. But you know what? You do get caught. And I know, like Tizzy, if any of you follow him on TikTok, you know, he loves to find these people that make idiots of themselves, being racist and saying horrible things to people. And I adore him, because all he does is put out, hey, this is the community. Tell me who this man or woman is. And people get a hold of him. So that's what we have to do. When people are ugly to others, we can't stand for it. We have to call it out. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we do. So let's look at some of our missing people for tonight. And we usually always show our Native brothers and sisters, and I do have a couple, but because of our subject tonight, I also have some others that I thought were appropriate.
You did. You did. You did.
Thank you.
Okay.
So remember, you guys, look at the faces. When you're out and about, please put those cell phones down and look at people. Sometimes people leave of their own initiative. Sometimes they get in a situation that they can't come back home. They get lured out or coerced by someone. We're seeing that so often with our young ones. We also know trafficking happens and all different types. It's labor. It's not just sex, but there is sex trafficking. There's labor trafficking. There's debt trafficking, all different kinds that people can get mixed up in. So look at these people. If something doesn't feel right, go ahead and call 911. Oh, Semi, I can't blame it on Moo. She's napping. I did it. I'll put my hand up. So remember, trust your instincts. If something seems off, remember that 411. If someone's flashing you the 411, they need help. Get them some help. If you're afraid to contact the police, we have an email, tips, 4, trialjunkiesunited@gmail.com. We'll send your information to the police that you share with us and say this person needs help. This is Lyra Simons. Sesmoms? How do you say that last name, Doc?
Hey, what?
It's Sessoms. Sessoms. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to
Lyra,
be looking at it, honey.
Okay, Lyra, I'm sorry, honey. I mispronounced your name. She's only 13 years old. She needs to be found. She went missing on May 29th at 11 p.m. from White Marsh, Maryland. She's 5'10" and 210 pounds. She was wearing black and red, an anime shirt, and pink shorts. Call 911 or 410-887-5000. 13. She needs to get found quickly. Now, this is Marquita Evans. She's 22. She's from the Blackfeet Reservation in Montana. She went missing on May 18th of 2026. She's 5'6", weighs 155 pounds. She has brown eyes and black hair. Last seen wearing a black sweater, blue jeans, leopard print Converse. Those sound cute. Call the Blackfeet law enforcement at 406-338-4000. And if you see her in another location, call 911. Okay. This is our young man, Samaj. Samaj. I knew I was going to. You guys, I practiced before, Doc can tell you.
Yeah.
14 years old. He was last seen in Norman, Oklahoma on May 25th. He has a case number, NCIC. It's M as in Michael, 918936012, or his NCMEC number is 208-9481. Contact Norman Police Department at 405-321-1444, or the NCMEC number at 1-800-843-5678. 14, he needs to be found. Let's get him home. Now, this is Susanna Sita Faye Edwards. She's from Anchorage, Alaska. She went missing on February 2nd of 2026. She is a native. She's 21, 5'7", and 110 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She has a tattoo that says 1963 in Old English script on her neck. If anybody has information, please contact the Anchorage Police Department at 907-786-8900. The case number is 26-3711. She also has a NamUs number, M as in Michael, P as in Paul, 158818. The next young lady, Doc's going to say her name because I'll butcher it.
Oh.
It's the one that starts with a U.
Umaria.
Umaria Gibbs Williams.
Yeah.
And she goes by Mary. She's 16. And she's from the same place that Juliana was from, Charlotte, North Carolina. The same age, you guys. This girl better not end up in a tree. I'm saying it. She disappeared on May 26th of 2026. And she has an NCI number, M as in Michael, 098-96-2302. I'm very concerned about this young lady. Contact the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department at 704-336-7600. Let's get her found, because I don't want another tragedy there in North Carolina. And we want answers for Juliana. Juliana's funeral is July 3rd, 2026 at Calvary Church of the Nazarene in Charlotte. You know, part of me, I also wonder if some of the immigration issues could be holding this family back from getting their answers, because they're from the Congo. And we know what ugliness is occurring in the States right now over immigration. But the clock on an independent autopsy is ticking. So, you know, you can contact Julian at julianfreedom.org, the organization behind the Crimson Record, with a formal MDL investigative protocol and activate casework. Contact the Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative, the organization that stepped up for Trey Reed's family. Share the missing persons flyers of minorities who are not getting attention. Juliana did not get national attention. There will be links below. These are real people, you guys. These are real families waiting and not being heard. Let's say her name, Juliana Nzita. Say his, Trey Reed, all of their names. And two things can be true at the same time. A family can have every reason not to trust an official ruling. A person can have struggled and still deserve every question answered before anyone says closed. So even if something was a self-deletion, they still need to answer questions before they stamp at that. And not just immediately, that's my go-to, because that makes me think of our Native brothers and sisters when it's always hypothermia, addiction, stamp. This, oh, stamp, self-deletion. A troubled past does not disqualify you from justice. A rushed ruling is not the same as the truth. And a pattern that's documented this wide and this deep, this old, does not get to keep calling itself a coincidence. Because I'm seeing a pattern. We have to teach our families to keep our humanity and keep our eyes open. A lot of these young kids, as you saw, we didn't have heights, weights. So please, if you have children or grandchildren, the next time you're with them, take a current picture. Even your adult daughters and sons, take a current picture from the face, take one from the side. Do like you did when they're kids. Either get their driver's license and see how tall, what they weigh, or stand them against the wall and measure them. Let's get this information on all of our loved ones. Keep a little file on your cell phone in the event that someone goes missing. You have this data. Don't wait till a tragedy and then you don't know how tall someone is. Because these things do help. If someone in your family gets a new tattoo, take a picture. Even if you hate tattoos or if you love them, just take a picture. Get a good picture of the tattoo. These identifying marks help. These are things that John Lorden, he did a whole series on the things to do when we lose a missing loved one. Cola Shippentower, she told us, get this information beforehand. No passwords. These are things that are going to help us with our loved ones if they go missing. I hope
it's just sad. It's just really sad that so many families where this is happening, whether they're indigenous or a minority. I mean,
just anybody.
Yeah, anybody. How this can be so devastating, because they have to go through backdoor support groups instead of actually getting help, because the authorities label it as self-deletion.
Yeah.
Or indigenous, it's most likely hypothermia.
Or just decide someone's not worthy enough. Katrina.
It was like we did that story a couple of weeks ago, on that one older lady in North Dakota that where the house burned down.
Yeah.
And
Siska's aunt.
Yeah, Siska's aunt. They didn't even open a file. There is no file.
There's nothing.
No.
Well, I mean, look at Katrina. We did her story with her aunt.
Yeah. Yep.
And they just decided that her aunt was not worthy of tracking down who hurt her. They tried to say she deleted herself. She drove across Dallas in the nude, wrapped herself in a blanket, tied herself up with a couple of belts, and then crawled in a trunk.
Closed it and where is the key for the vehicle, you idiots? I just
and then they tried to say that she overdosed, but when Katrina got the autopsy reports, she had no drugs in her system.
Yep.
You know what? It's like this. I'm just going to put it plainly, because I love law enforcement when they do their job. Yep. And if you've got a good law enforcement story, come share it with me. We'll put it on the air. But for these cops, they all want to be a detective, right? Getting your detective badge means something. If you're not going to use it and you're not going to ask questions and actually detect, McDonald's is hiring. Go get a job where you don't have to think.
Yep.
I'm putting it plainly. If you don't want to do the job, give it to someone that actually wants to do it. I'm tired of hearing these stories of people that just don't want to do their job. It just infuriates me.
Mm-hmm.
Because these families all deserve answers. Their loved ones all deserve justice. And that's what we're here for. That's why we tell the stories. And I wanted to make sure Juliana's story got told. I'm hoping that she didn't delete herself. She could have. I'm not saying yay or nay. I'm just saying I have questions, and the authorities did not answer them for the family.
Yeah,
Simi, you're probably right.
That's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to tell, yeah. Simi. It's just, I think some of these, there are those that are good detectives.
Yep.
And we do see that. And then we just, sadly, with some of these stories, we're just seeing the worst of the worst. So like I said, if anyone's got a good story, please come share it with us. We'll put it on the air. I want a good story. I want a good detective story.
That would be nice.
And we have to have our retired Homeland Security guys back on. Mm-hmm. They were good guys.
Yep.
And they still care, and they're still doing the work, even though they're retired. Those are the kind of guys that we want to promote. There's another one that does missing women, looks for missing women. And I've got to reach back out to him and see if he'll come on, because he's one of the good guys. And so, yeah, if you're a good guy or a good gal that does your job, reach out. We'll talk. I'd love to share your stories. But remember, you guys, every killer, every predator depends on our silence. Don't give it to them. If you know something, just speak up, because it wasn't a mannequin. It never is. And we do know that someone knows something. Someone always does. And silence, it's betrayal. That's always been our motto. If you guys have a story you want just to share, reach out, trialjunkiesunited@gmail.com. Every Thursday night, we do MMIP stories for our Native brothers and sisters. That is one of my focuses. It's always been. It's not that I don't want to tell other stories. And on Sundays, we do tell other stories. And I thought Juliana's deserved to be told. I thought Trey's deserved to be told. There's so many more. So if someone has a story they think needs to be told, let me know, because everyone deserves justice. You guys mean so much to Doc and I. We want you to know that. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. It means the world. Moo appreciates too, because she does like to work, even though she naps once we get on the air. But she does like to come into the studio to work. But until next time, you guys, stay informed, stay compassionate, keep seeking truth, keep demanding justice, never stop speaking up. Hey, Doc, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, Doc.
Hey, Billy, you get some sleep. Thanks for coming. Mark, hey, I think that's awesome. You still thought you were doing the right thing, and you were. It's better to have it checked out. What if it had been?
Yeah.
You know? And I know this one person that I was talking about that I do want to invite to the show. There was a situation where they were looking for a missing person, and they did find some bones, and it turned out they were deer bones. But you know what? Someone turned it in, so they got an answer. Because when you're looking for someone, and we hear all the time of people stumbling across bones. So, you know, if you're out hiking or out in the wilderness doing your thing, and you come across something, please drop a pin on your phone so that you can take the authorities back there. It's very important, because there are so many people that want to know where their loved ones are. And I think that's the worst thing, when you have absolutely no answers where someone is missing. Not that it's good when you find out they're deceased, but I'm just saying, I think the not knowing anything, it would be hard. Our hearts go out to all these families that have endured this. And it breaks my heart that we're still talking about lynchings in 2026.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be. This shouldn't even be something that we think about, but we have to. Semi's right. It's always best to call just in case, you know, and that's the important thing. So don't ever feel bad, but make sure you're taking current pictures of your family members, even your adult children, you know, if you have a sister, just everybody, just make sure you have good pictures and have details on everybody. You can be sneaky and get all your information. Have a file in every family member, at least the ones you like. I got to measure Moo, make sure she don't go nowhere. So we love you guys. Remember, the criminals never stop, so neither do we. And until next time, you guys keep fighting for justice. And we'll see you Thursday night. We love you. I wrote another song for the end here. I hope you enjoy this one as well. Ciao. See you Thursday.
We searched for days and nights together, praying, Lord, just bring her home. Then the phone rang cold that Friday morning, said she'd been found all alone. I said, tell me what you're gonna do now. Tell me how you'll find the truth. You said case is closed and walked away from us. You didn't even look.
I shook your hand. I thought you'd help her. Thought you'd fight to find the truth. But you wrote it up and called it finished before you ever had a clue. My child deserved better than a folder, deserved better than your excuse. You had everything you needed to find answers. You didn't even look. You didn't even look.
You didn't even look.
Didn't even ask.
Put it in a folder.
Closed your eyes and walked away.
But that was somebody's child,
Somebody's whole world.
somebody's son, somebody's girl. You didn't even look. You didn't even look. You didn't even look.
You thought our grief would keep us quiet, thought our tears would make us small. But a broken heart can still keep fighting. Love don't stop at no stone wall. We don't need your badge or your permission. We don't need your stamp of truth. We'll find the answers that you wouldn't look for. We'll do the job you were supposed to do.
We are not the only ones still fighting. There are mothers standing right beside us, fathers, brothers, sisters, all still searching for the answers that you denied us.
We are building something you can't silence, a family too big to push aside. Every person matters, every story. Nobody gets left behind.
You didn't even look, didn't even ask. Put it in a folder, close your eyes and walk away. But that was somebody's child, somebody's whole world, somebody's son, somebody's girl. You didn't even look.
Look us in the eye.
You didn't even look.
Look us in the eye.
You didn't even look.
Look us in the eye.
You didn't even look.
Look us in the eye. You had one job. Look us in the eye. Just one job. Find the truth. Find the truth. But you chose to walk away. You chose to walk away. So we choose to stay.
We choose to stay.
We choose our loved one.
Every single day.
We choose our loved one.
Every single day. Yeah.
We choose our loved one.
Every single day.
You didn't even look, didn't even ask. Put it in a folder, closed your eyes and walked away. But that was somebody's child, somebody's whole world, somebody's son, somebody's girl. We still have questions.
We still need answers, and we will keep on fighting every single day until the truth comes out. We will not go away.
Still looking for answers,
Still looking for answers.
still looking for truth.
We're still here.
We're still here.
We're still here.